Klara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro is a book by the Nobel Literature Award-winning author. He has written, this is his 8th book. I have not read any of his others or heard anything about the others. I do own Never Let Me Go. It's on my shelf over there. I haven't touched it. I found that one in an airport. Moving on, this book, there's apparently a lot of clout with him as a writer because he won the Nobel Literature Award. So, I mean, I've heard a lot of good things about The Remains of the Day and his other works. But this will be my first book, and it was okay. This book is about Klara. She is an AF, an artificial friend. AFs are purchased usually for, not to be babysitters, but sort of in this dystopian future world, children can be genetically modified or not. You can be lifted or unlifted. And so you can edit your child genetically to not have any disease. However, Klara gets purchased by a girl who's sick all the time because her mom never got around to doing that, a single mother, you know. And so Klara spends a lot of the first chunk of the book behind a display case, and she has a defect where she needs solar power, and if she doesn't get enough of it, she could, you know, break. So she's always trying to get into the door display or the window display. However, she eventually gets taken out by Josie and her mother, and they live in the middle of nowhere for the fresh country air. And Josie, you know, has a crush on the next door neighbor boy, Rick. However, Rick has his own problems at home. And this is a really interesting book. It's a dystopian sci-fi, but it's more about the human condition, which I really enjoyed that. There's also a really uncomfortable part in the middle of the book. That was probably the best part of the book. However, the endings are really underwhelming for sure. Very vague. Didn't quite enjoy it. The ending, not the book. However, I also had, personally speaking, I had a really rough week at work because of all the pandemic stuff. And I just, when I got to about page 240, I just put the book down, and I just didn't have the gumption to keep picking it up. So I kept like picking it up and reading 10 pages at a time. And I finally sat down to just finish it because the book's divided into 6 parts, but you know, the last 3 parts are very short. And there's no chapter breaks, right? It's just straight up like long pages of prose, so hard to find places to stop. But overall, I really like the themes. The writing's really interesting. I just didn't like the ending, and this book was just okay. I mean, I don't really know how to compare this to the other author's amazing work, but this one was just okay. It could have been better. I do like how it was more of a human condition story rather than anything else. But overall, yeah, it was a bit vague in places and underwhelming. I guess the author couldn't come up with a better ending. So I give Klara and the Sun a 3 out of 5.